Hello and welcome. It's Power Coach Alicia here. Today we are going to be talking about what your soul is trying to tell you, and your birth chart proves it. Okay, so even if you know nothing about astrology, how astrology works, even if you don't even believe in it, just wait, just stay here with me because I'm going to walk you through some things that I feel are going to help you understand more about what I call your soul blueprint, which is your birth chart. It was basically it is basically the blueprint that you were born with that helps guide you. Now, I'm not a person who believes that you got to live and die by astrology and live and die by your birth chart, but if you use it to help guide you, especially in healing, you can supercharge your healing and transform your relationship with your partner. Okay, so today we're going to talk about three main things. You're going to see me look off the screen. I want to make sure I stay on my notes. I want to be, straight with you and to the point and get you what you need so you can, get back on with your life. But we're going to be talking about why your soul feels exhausted, how your birth chart reveals what your soul is craving versus what you've been settling for, and then the three cosmic clues that your soul has been trying to give you that you have been calling problems. Okay, so the very first thing, the reason why your soul feels exhausted, this is really, really, really important. It's because you are doing your best to live in an energy and show up in a way that you feel is the right way, like what you're expected to do, what is acceptable. In my world, I like to say what is palatable for other people, right? And so when you show up like that and when you're living like that, it causes exhaustion because you're meant to live as your authentic self. But one of the things that I notice with my clients when they come to me is they don't know what their authentic self is. Okay, that can't be. That's loud. G. Sorry, guys. That can't be. Okay, I get distracted easily. The kitchen's right off my office and there's no doors. So I apologize. Anyways, so with that being said, you're meant to live as your authentic self, right? But if you don't know who your authentic self is because you've been living as who you thought everybody wanted you to be, then what do you do? What you do is you keep throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks, right? You're in 10, 15 years of therapy. You've done inner child work. You've done, Reiki and every energy thing you can think of. You journal, you meditate, all of the different things, but you still feel exhausted and disconnected from yourself while you're on this journey to find out, like, who are you authentically? That's a big thing that I hear a lot. It's like, I want to live as my authentic self, but I don't even know who I am. I have children, I have a partner, life and work and career, and I look in the mirror and I don't recognize myself. It's because you aren't living based on your soul blueprint. You're living based on the blueprint that you believe you are supposed to live as, that other people have told you you should live that way, or who you should be and how you should show up and how you should operate. Okay, so your birth chart reveals what your soul is craving and then what you've been settling for. So let me talk about three main points in your birth chart. You can go to cafeastrology.com. Okay, I'm going to throw that down in the comments. Cafeastrology.com. And you can put in your birth month, day, and time and location. That's what you're going to need. Month, day, time, and location, including the state, right? Those four things, you put them in and it's going to spit back all the information that you need. Now, the challenge is, like, what do you do with this information? How do you utilize this information? How do you heal with this information? And also, how do you deepen and transform your relationship with your partner with this information? That's where I come in. That's the work that I do here in the Queendom, right? So, but you can put the information in and you're looking for three main things right off the bat. You're looking at what's your sun sign, which everybody always knows, right? That's like the foundation of astrology. Everybody thinks that they are their sun sign and that's it, right? You're looking for your moon sign and you're looking for your ascendant or your rising. Those are the three things that you're going to want to look at very first. There are a few other areas that are important, like your Mercury, your Venus, your Mars. Those three things are important for other reasons that we can talk about in a minute. So when you have your sun, moon, and rising, it starts to give you this baseline. And when you have your Mercury, your Venus, and your Mars, and you layer it on top of that, that's where you can really do the real work, okay? So first and foremost, your sun sign are like your baseline characteristics, right? That's the foundation of who you are. That is the foundation of how you operate day in and day out. Like, nothing is going to change your baseline characteristics. Now, it doesn't mean you can't enhance and grow and evolve and shift, But the baseline of who you are is always going to be there. That is your sun sign. Now, everybody, like I said, believes that that's the main thing about you. That's your main personality. That's your main everything. And the truth is, that's wrong. Your ascendant is actually your main, like your forefront. That's how the people view you. That's how you are received. That's your outward personality. So your ascendant is actually how you get along in the world, right? And how people connect with you in the world, not your baseline characteristics. Those are the core foundation of you. But the biggest thing that is really empowering here is your moon sign. And your moon sign is how you feel safe, how you process emotions, how you receive love, and how you receive love. And also like where your love comes from in a way. Okay, your Venus is another layer to your love, but that's for another day and another time, right? So your moon sign is how you receive love, how you process emotions, right? And how you feel emotionally, how you operate emotionally, all right? So knowing that your sun sign is your baseline characteristics, your moon sign is how you are emotionally, and your rising or ascendant is how you're viewed in the world, these three things are your baseline for starting your healing. So I'm giving them to you right now, right? To start your healing. First of all, you got to understand who the fuck you are at the core and at the base, sun sign. Then you need to understand how you process emotions, right? How you feel inside and like what you need emotionally, how you operate emotionally, you, right? Because if you don't understand that, then you can't tell someone else what you need and how you process and how you operate, right? And then your ascendant, how you show up in the world. If you are not aligned with that and you are editing yourself, shrinking yourself, putting yourself into a box, this blueprint that the world gave you, told you how to be, how to show up, how to operate, how to talk, all of those things, and you're not aligning with your actual ascendant, there's a constant disconnection. You go out into the world being a people pleaser and being what you think people want you to be, but you feel disconnected from yourself and you don't know how to bridge that gap because you don't want to feel alone. You don't want to be alone and you don't want people to not want to be around you. So if you're not living as your ascendant because you're afraid of people not accepting you, you've got a huge disconnect with yourself, finding your rhythm, and really being at the center of your soul. And so these three things make a huge difference in how you start your healing. And so remember, I call your birth chart your soul blueprint because in my world, in the queendom, it is your soul blueprint. It is your healing blueprint. It is your love blueprint. It is your growth, your transformation blueprint. It's how you parent. It's how you are in your friendships. It's how you are with your parents and those relationships. It's how you are with your siblings. Like your soul blueprint, which is your birth chart, is your map. It doesn't mean that you don't have the free will to go here and go there and do this and do that. Of course, you always have free will. That's why I say I don't live and die by astrology. It's just my guide, especially for healing. So it's not a faded blueprint. It's a healing blueprint, right? So pay attention to that. Really, really, really important. So we kind of went into the three cosmic clues, but like if you don't understand the core of who you are because you've been told who to be and how to feel, and more than likely it did come from childhood, right? And that's a reason why inner child work is so big right now. It's a big buzzword. Everybody wants to go to every retreat that's inner child work and they want to pay $2,000 for a fucking 90-minute session for inner child work, which I did, thinking that that's the point to heal. We got to hug the little girl and make her feel safe and let her know that she's okay and all of that fucking bullshit. But the truth is it's really about understanding that your soul blueprint is just remembering who you are. See, I have this belief system that before we came here, we chose our path. We chose what we wanted to learn. We chose how we wanted to grow. We chose how we wanted to evolve. And we chose what this path was going to where we're going to be put on this path. But remember, there's still that free will. And so that is why, like the Buddhists believe, if you don't learn what you need to learn and you don't ascend the way, you repeat that life, right? It's kind of like that same concept. I feel very connected to that because the thing about your soul blueprint is it's telling you what you need because you decided that that's what you needed when you came here. But see, the world is always telling us how to be, how to operate, how to show up, how to speak, how to live, business, the this, the that. The world is telling us all of those things. And so when you have your soul blueprint, which is, basically your soul's instruction manual, and then you have the world, that's the work you do here, is being able to not shut out the world, but understand that the world has its place, but your soul blueprint is your power. It's where you come from, right? The world is the external, and it's always going to be there. Life is going to be lifey. People are going to be people-y. But then you have your soul blueprint, and that's from the inside out. But see, the problem is you're using the external world to decide who you are inside. And when you do that, you are completely disconnected. The core foundation of you've gotten so far away from, you have no idea who the fuck you are, right? And then how you feel inside, what you need inside, how you process your emotions, how you express your emotions. It's like you have been shut down and told that this was wrong or that's wrong and you need to do this and do that. So that's been molded, right? And then like we said, how you show up in the world, you have edited that. Maybe when you were younger, it kind of felt so much better, right? And then you have children and a partner and rearing life and like all the fucking things that you've got to do. And then how you show up, it gets edited because you don't want to be judged. Here's a prime example of that. And this is kind of like a big, not a big example, but it'll help make my point. So one time I was at Bunko with a group of girls, and we were all hanging out before, and everybody was talking about like what their kids ate for breakfast. I fucking hate these conversations, by the way. I think it's completely asinine to talk about how you fucking parent so that the other people in the room can give you their fucking opinion that you never asked for. It's fucking idiotic. If everybody's kids are alive and healthy and happy, who gives a fuck how you got them then? All right, digressing from that. So everybody's talking about, what the fuck their kids eat for breakfast. You have this one mom that's like, oh my God, I get up and I make them eggs, and every single morning they have eggs and da-da-da-da-da. And then you have another woman who chimes in and is like, yeah, that's so good with all the processed foods. You want to make sure that their day starts right. And I blotted out. I don't know what the fuck she said. She does something a little different. I don't know. Something in the middle between eggs and fucking Pop-Tarts, right? I don't know. She did something in the middle. So I guess like maybe one did a full-on breakfast, one just made their fucking kids eggs, and I was the Pop-Tart mom. Like, I don't give a fuck what you eat. Just eat something. If you want to change your eating habits and get better and, eat healthy food, then, you can figure that out and, do the damn thing, right? I know, I get it. Different ages. I'm the one that grocery shops, blah, 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 blah. I don't give a fuck about any of that. So the point is that you had three different types of moms. The mom that every day kills herself to have like a full fucking breakfast for the children. Another mom that thought, that they just have eggs, then, they have a good start to a good healthy start to their day. And then you have me that's like, if you just fucking eat, I fucking succeeded for the day. One of my children was so fucking picky that it was a goddamn nightmare. So it's like, if you just eat, I'm grateful for that, right? When it came to me and the Pop-Tarts, the women were like, oh man, those are so bad for them. The refined sugar. I would never let my kids eat that, all the fucking bullshit, right? And so what I'm doing my best to explain to you is like in this moment, you have the three different moms. I'm the mom that just doesn't give a fuck about shit like that. I'm the mom that is worried about the kid's mindset. I'm the mom that's worried about the kid's soul. I'm the mom that's teaching the child like how to hold themselves, how to speak up for themselves, how to be in their personal power. I mean, I get it. Refined sugar will do this and do that. I get it all. I don't give a fuck, right? Remember I said that. I don't give a fuck. Don't you even worry about the comments or the Facebook messages trying to explain this to me because I don't give a fuck, right? But my point is like, I'm the mom that's worried about the inside, the soul, and that sort of thing. That's the work that I did with my children their whole life and still do today, right? And so I was being judged because my kids eat Pop-Tarts or whatever the fuck they want in the morning, cereal. It doesn't matter, what they want, right? And so I was being judged by that. And I remember saying something like, yeah, well, I'm the shitty mom that doesn't, fucking cook the food. I don't give a shit. I'm not a cereal maker. I don't cook dinners. I don't do any of that shit either. But my family doesn't want for anything because of the mom that I am, the person that I am, and all the other ways, right? We're all just different and we do different things. But listen, my point about this is I am a Libra rising. And so a Libra rising wants everybody to be happy, wants everybody not necessarily to be balanced, but because it is the sign of the scales of justice and equality and blah, blah, blah. But it just like really wants everybody to feel good, like a win-win situation for everybody and everybody to see each other's standpoint and everybody to be, come together, right? That is my rising. I want everyone to be harmonious, right? But as a Libra rising, if I'm only focusing on harmony and peacekeeping, then I feel invisible, right? And so in this moment, I could have taken the whole Pop-Tart thing and come home and jumped off the cliff and been like, you guys can't have Pop-Tarts and cereal anymore. You've got to, I got to make you eggs, and then had a whole conversation with my husband and said, oh my God, we got to change the way they eat because these women, this lady cooks breakfast, full course breakfast, this one does this, all the shit. And I didn't change anything. Why didn't I change anything? Because for me, I was sound in myself and, you know, how I raise my children, what I do. And it's not my values, moral standards are not their values, morals and standards. And I'm not going to change that because you're looking down on me. And let me tell you, this has been something that has happened in lots of conversations with mothers. I have been judged, you know, because my kids are homeschooled or were homeschooled. Like, lots of reasons for me to shrink and edit and do things differently, right? But I know who I am, and I'm not going to let those outside things shift how I do things, unless what's being brought to me, I legitimately, from my inside out, feel like that's something that I want to grow and that's something that I want to change. But that came from understanding myself through my birth chart, right? And understanding, like, what is it that I really need? What really helps me feel seen, heard, and understood? What helps me feel valued, honored, and respected? What helps me feel safe and chosen and loved, right? And that's the space I moved from. But I spent, you know, 17-ish years in personal development and books, and you know, I spent a lot of money on going to events and courses and programs and one-on-one sessions with coaches. My example of $2,222 for a 2-hour session is legitimate. I paid that for fucking inner child work. Who gives a fuck? Like, let her go around in there doing whatever the fuck she's doing, right? If I can be centered with myself, she's going to feel loved. I don't need to like go in and go through this fucking hypnotherapy or meditation and find her and hold her goddamn hand and go back to those places when I was a child. Like, it didn't do anything for me. Yes, there were some realizations from my childhood that I had in the inner child work, but it wasn't highly transformational and healing for my soul, because that's not what we need. And spending 10 or 15 years in therapy, just talking about our problems, and every single time something happens in life, we're going to take it to the therapy session and work through that. How the fuck are you learning to face life and trust yourself and come from a place in yourself of strength? You're not. You're using an external person to have your internal power. But when you know your soul blueprint, when you know what your soul needs, when you know what your instruction manual is, what your shadows are, what the things are that make you tick, where you're going to fuck it up or could fuck it up, depending on what you do with the information, and what you need to do instead in order to feel good and powerful and empowered and loved and chosen and safe, the rest of it doesn't matter. Right? And so that's what we're talking about here. You can spend 10 years in therapy or 10 minutes with your birth chart and transform your fucking life. So one of the things that I want to offer you, it's free, no strings attached. There's nothing for sale on the call, is an Exhale call. And on this call, the entire intention is to help you go from being braced in this tightness and this constriction that you feel just day in and day out, you know, being disconnected from your base self, being told how to feel and, you know, process, and, you know, being told how to show up in life and how you present yourself and what's wrong with you, and you're a bitch because you're strong and you're bossy and controlling because you're a leader in type A. I want to give you just some power to exhale. I want to show you just a little bit of a shift that you could do to exhale in your soul. So we're going to talk through some things. Let's talk about your sun sign and how that can help you. And I'm going to start helping you I'm going to help you by introducing you to that foundation of astrology, your sun sign, but actually using that sun sign for something that actually matters, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about your moon sign too and how to use that as well. But I want to hit the other three that I talked about. So Mars, we talked about, that is your action. That's where your action, your drive comes from. Your Venus is the way you love and receive love. And Mercury is your communication style. See, this is why you're so much more than your sun sign, because all of these things make up how you show up day in and day out, how you operate, how you speak, how you love, how you receive love, how you take action, how you don't take action, like all of these things. And if you don't understand this about yourself, you feel like there's something wrong. So drop a crown in the comments if you'd like the link to both the call. Like I said, there's nothing for sale on it. It's just my gift to you. And this is where you can start your healing. So with that being said, if no one has told you today, I want you to know that you are worth it. You are always worth it. I'm Power Coach Alicia, and we'll see you next time. Bye.